Hi, sorry about the delay from my first video to now. We've had some extreme weather, heavy thunderstorms. We've been under severe thunderstorm watch, a few tornadoes pretty close by, pretty scary time, power fluctuating, basement flooding, so that's why. Not here to make excuses. And plus you don't hear that. So in my first short little video I did to introduce, I guess, the channel, you might have heard some sort of scratching in the background. And like I said, I'm not tech savvy, so I didn't cut it out. And the reason is somebody decided on the floor, okay, where her bed is, decided to scratch away for all she's worth, scratching to China, I think. And this is her. She's, look at the state of her, the tongue hanging out, she's losing her teeth. She's about, I don't know, 13, 14 years of age. She's a little Yorkshire Buer, the terrier, blind in one eye, deaf as a post, but she hears more than more than she wants to hear, I think, sometimes, you know. You call her and no, nothing really registered. But if she hears something, I guess a higher range, then she'll hear it. So that's why, little Shani, good therapy dog. She knows when I'm feeling a bit upset, you know, or you know, in pain or what, and she'll come up and snuggle up. So dogs are good for that. So I'm going to put her down for a minute. Again, like I said, I'm not going to edit this, cut things out. So it is what it is. There you go, young Shiny. Okay, so you might gather that I got myself a tripod-y thing. It's standing a bit higher than I'd like it. I can't lower it no more. So every now and again you'll see me looking down because I do have notes I've taken. So anyway, that's the reason. So if you hear barking, yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, so my name is Dave. This is my story. Before we start, I want you to just take a breath in, a deep breath, and hold it for me, please, for about 5 seconds. That's all, just 5 seconds. Then exhale, and do it again for another 5 seconds. And then back out. So it's good, eh? I wish I used to be able to do that. Not anymore, you know? Not no more. So, where were we? Yes, one breath at a time. So, there is a moment in life that divides everything into two parts. The before and the after. For me, that moment didn't happen on a building site. It happened during my apprenticeship. It happened in a doctor's office on what I thought was going to be another routine check. So this is the one breath at a time. Here we go. So I'll take you back, not too long, about 12 years, 14, yeah, 12 years ago. So I was offered a job at the maintenance department in the hospital in Saskatoon. Brilliant, landed myself, you know. And being a journeyman, fantastic. And they only take qualified people, i.e. journeymen, which I never heard of before until I came over here, you know. So yeah. So, you know, I had to go through the usual pre-employment checks, even though I was employed, for want of a better word, for a short while. And one of those, I wasn't worried, one of those was a TB test, because TB, as you know, is an infectious disease. Anybody can pick it up, I guess. So, and I know where I'm from, TB was back in the day eradicated, but obviously with immigration and whatnot, they bring it over. So I could have come in contact with it because I felt healthy, I felt fit. I wouldn't say I could run a marathon anymore. I run a couple, quite a few, but every breath, every step is another breath. Yeah, I'm done, sort of thing, I do have a disability sticker on my vehicle because I can't walk too far without getting out of breath. Oh, by the way, I put a towel up in that window behind us. Otherwise, the light would just come beaming through, So let me know in the comments if this lighting's too much, because I got on a dull yellow at the moment because it was too bright. I was blind and I couldn't see diddly squat, So anyway, so yeah, I wasn't worried. I felt fit, felt healthy. It's just another box to tick, So a couple of days went by. They do something to your arm, I guess. I don't know what I can't remember what, but they put something on your arm or in your arm, and if you react, you get a little swelling. Okay, so mine came up and a little bump on my arm. I can't remember exactly where it was, but so she's seen it. And it came back positive, obviously. The nurse explained to me that wasn't necessarily meant that I have active tuberculosis. Sometimes it just means you were exposed years ago or a week ago, but it meant the next step, an x-ray, just to be sure. But don't worry about it. That's what she told me. You're fine, and I looked at it as an inconvenience rather than anything serious, So yeah, I done my x-ray. Took a few weeks. You know how it works, Nothing's immediate with the health authority, but because I worked there, worked for the health authority, I guess it was expedited, which was nice, So I got a call to come in from this specialist, a pulmonary specialist, for a discussion. So I went, okay, this doesn't sound good. So I said to my boss, can I take the day off? I want to, get the wife involved in all this. And he said, by all means, very, very accommodating, That's what I missed about working there. But by saying that, the company I work for now is exactly the same. So anyway, so he came in, and but there was just something in his voice on that call that told me that this wasn't going to be routine, So we came up, got the time, we got called into his office. His wife sat down. I just stood there. He said, you better sit down. And immediately, I don't know, I don't think I sat down, I think I fell in the chair. It's just his tone, was rather scary. And I was thinking the worst, being a smoker, So he put the x-ray on this little light thing, which the light comes through, you can see all the, your lungs. And he told me to stand up and take a look at it. So I did. And he said, Al, what do you see? And I went, what? That looks, it's white. Both my lungs are white. Oh, no. Something's wrong here. I've been smoking since I was 15, I'm 68 now, so yeah, a long time. And he said, no, don't worry. He said, it's nothing to do with smoking. So, wow, I can run a marathon now, He said, okay, let's be serious. What do you see? I said, well, it looks like, still closer. I said, it looks like millions of spider webs just all over my lungs. Everything was just pure white. And all these little lines crisscrossing each other. Just like spider's webs. And he said, yep, that's exactly what it looks like. Then he asked me a question that changed everything. Have you ever worked with asbestos? And just like that, my brain went blank. What? Asbestos? I don't know. He said, okay, go home. Don't worry, go home. Relax and think. Have a notepad in front of you, whatever you want to write on. I don't care if it's an envelope. He said, just write down from the time we left school at 16. So that's when we started our work days back in those times. Then this graduation thing, or we just left school on a Friday and start work on a Monday basically to get you out, So I did. I went home, and I think that was the longest. I think it took us 20 minutes to drive through the city to get to our place. And it was the longest drive of my life. I don't think either one of us really spoke, It was just, we were both in shock. The wife was crying most of the way home, thinking the worst, Me, I was just blank. So next minute I felt a hand on mine. And she said, don't worry, honey, we'll get through this. Just do what he says. Go home. The first thing you should do is, being British, make yourself a cup of tea. Because I think we won the war on cups of tea, us and the Canadians, So, yeah. You can probably tell by I'm very humorous. Always have been. I treat life not as a joke, but how can I put it? Since I was diagnosed, my outlook on life has changed. I've always been a comedian, a bit of a joker, Laughter is the best medicine. So you will find out as I'm going through these episodes, you're thinking, well, this isn't serious. This doesn't seem like he's too worried. No, why should I be? No point sitting in the corner crying about it. You've got it. Let's live with it. One breath at a time. It's catchy. I'll give you that. Just live with it and get on with it. Get on with your life. I'm 68 and I'm still working in construction. Can you believe that? And I can work harder and faster than my young lad I'm training up, and he's 26. And he's off now with a bad back. So, yeah. Okay. So I got home, made myself a cup of tea, found an old notepad, got an old pen, pencil, I can't remember now. And I just started writing while I left school, what I did. And just like that, my mind went right back to when I was 17, to a place called the Hobby Horse Inn in Minehead, Somerset, England. Seaside resort. Beautiful, beautiful Victorian, I think it was a block of flats or apartments, as we call it over here in Canada now. Well, now I'm in Canada, I gotta call it apartments, but over there we call them flats. And our job, it's my second year apprentice, and our job was to fireproof them. What's the best thing to fireproof a door? It's not really fireproofing, it's suppressant. You're suppressing the fire long enough so people can go to escape. So we had these big sheets of asbestos, and it was sad to see because we were covering up these doors, beautiful, beautiful oak Victorian doors with this grey sheet of asbestos. And we were carrying them up the stairs, and there was no such thing as electric drills or not hammers, electric hammers, I wish. Screwdrivers, that sort of thing. Everything was all done by hand. Sawing, the planing, the screwdriver, everything. It's all done by hand. You know, no battery power stuff. And there was, so we had to cut it, sand it, you know, dust was flying everywhere. No masks, not back in those days. No warnings. None of us had any idea whatsoever. I mean, even as kids, our brick outhouse, for want of a better word, I would have used the word shite house, but okay, outhouse would work, had corrugated asbestos sheeting going on it. And then our little brick shed next to it to store your lawnmower or whatever had asbestos sheeting on it. So everywhere was asbestos. Amazing stuff, you know. So, okay, he booked me in for an appointment. So me and the wife went again. We were, like I said, we always go together. Then he told me, I gave him the list, you know. And he looked at it, you know, dots is like, you know. And I said, look, explain to me in English, please, not in your doctor talk, because it'll just, like DHL straight up my head, you know. So he said, I got pleural plaque, or plaques, which is in the lung, and then pleural thickening, which is outside the lung, okay? Almost certainly from asbestos exposure, decades earlier. This was going back 1974, and I was diagnosed then in 2014, so you do the math, long time ago, you know. And I found out that the pleural plaques, basically when you're breathing in the asbestos, these very, very tiny little dust shards. That's basically what else could I, the other word for it, you know, very tiny little shards. You inhale them, goes in the lungs. First thing they do, they stick into your lung, your pleura, I guess. And then your immune system, like, this is what I've been told by him. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional. Only what I've been told. So immune system starts to attack this foreign body, but it can't. And then this pleural plaque, for want of what they call it, which is the asbestos shards, start attacking the immune system, I guess, in the lung, and start to build up, and then every now and again it calcifies, drops, and then starts to fold in your lung. So, and then pleural thickening, I didn't know how the hell this happened and how it happened or why it would do this. It basically is around the outside of the lung, okay? She's off. And basically it's like a straight jacket, and it just get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until you've got nothing left. And then you're done, okay? Shani, shush, she can't hear me, so nobody even telling her name. So it wasn't cancer. That was a relief. But there was something else under that relief, I guess. Something close to anger. Not at anybody, not any one person, I guess. But anger for something I did as a kid. And yeah, I was a kid, 17-year-old kid, you know. Just trying to learn a trade. And it waited 40 plus years to come back and bite me in the ass, basically. But I want to make it clear about something right from the get-go on this video. This isn't a story about blame, okay? I'm not blaming nobody, because you can't. Nobody deliberately set out to hurt us. Me, the other apprentices, the tradesmen I work with, you know, because the men who taught me my trade believed in what they had been told, same as we did. And we were all part of the same team, even the foreman. You know, he had no idea. Otherwise, he would have said, come on, boys, you know, wear a mask. We were all part of that chain, I guess, you know. And none of us knew the chain had already been broken. But this isn't a misery story. You know, there's going to be a lot of laughter coming in this series. For my youth, you know, as an apprentice, you goof, you know. You do goof off a lot. You get taught off even more, you know, from the boys, especially the foremen. You'll find that out later on. Mates became family, you know, or buddies, as Americans and Canadians over here call it. We call them mates, you know. Stupid jokes and things we got up to on building sites that still make me laugh. 40 plus years later, you know. But underneath all of it, there's this one thread that runs through everything. And this is the reason why I'm sat here telling you this now. If my story helps just one apprentice or anybody dealing with something they're not sure of, because a lot of the older places still have asbestos in there. So if it helps anybody by putting a mask on, using HEPA filters, you know, using negative air pressure to draw the crud out into HEPA bags, you know, that's the right reason why I want to tell the story, you know. And if it helps one family, just one family, feel a little less alone in all of this, especially after being diagnosed like me, you know, then all of this would be worth it, you know. My goal is not about me, even though the story is me, you know. My goal is to help and explain that is not the end of the world with what I've got, you know. So next time I am going to take you back to where it all really began. A 16-year-old kid, oh God, I wish, a long time ago, a lad, you know, in his whites, toolbox, and a job that was about to change my whole direction in my life. If you want the full story, I'm in the complete story. Every character, every place, and every year of it, through the laughter, through the fun, through the fear. I've just wrote a book. Yeah, me. I wrote a book. Wow, I'm an author. I'm famous. No. The book's available on Amazon. And it's going to be on ebook and paperback. And it's called, obviously, One Breath at a Time. But this series is going to give the shape of it, and the book will give you all of it, okay? I just wanted you guys to see the person behind the book, okay? So, again, I'm Dave. Thanks for watching. And remember, stay safe, take care of each other, and take one breath at a time. And I will see you very, very soon. Take care for now. Bye.